A second technique to sharpen the ability to hear is, ironically, learning to see. This helps to avoid what I call the Dilbert school of chamber music, each person in his own cubicle, trying valiantly not to be distracted by what is going on around him. The more players look at each other as they play, the better they can hear the other voices and connect with them. As a coach, I'm often urging players to look at each other as they play a phrase together, and it only dawned on me recently that there's a reason they hesitate to do this. They're afraid they will lose their place in the music. So this next exercise, which I call spotting, was developed to train players to look up and then return to the same spot on the page, and by doing so, to begin to listen to someone other than himself. Let's observe this young quartet playing the first movement of Beethoven's Opus 18, No. 4. As you watch them, see how often they look up from their music. I'm sure your coaches have told you to look at each other, right? And probably what happens is that you're really afraid that if you look up, you're going to lose your place. Has that ever happened to you? Like in orchestra? Yeah. So I thought we could try this technique for training yourselves to be able to look up and look back. And I call it spotting because if you know ballet dancers, when they twirl around, if they just their eyes just went around, they get dizzy and fall down, which would be embarrassing for them. That would be as embarrassing as not being able to find your place would be for you. So what they do is they spot. They put their eyes one place and they come back to it. So what I'd like you to do right now as an exercise is to find a place, a measure on the page, okay? And when I say spot, you're going to look at the person to your right. That means orally you look at Serena. Just look at the person over there and then come back to the same place, okay? So it'll be like spot, okay? And then make sure, it's like picking a card. Pick a measure, any measure. Got it? Okay, ready? Spot. And you have to go right back because you want to go look and back. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it this way. Serena and Matt and Orly and Ben, okay? Ready? Spot, back. Now pick up your instruments, okay? You don't have to pick up yours. Okay, start at the beginning. And what I'm going to do is, as you're playing, I'm going to say spot. Now, the point of this would be to look at the person that you're actually playing with, but right now we won't do that. The first attempts to spot and play will be a little disorganized. At first, just looking up at all and continuing to play will be quite a challenge. Spot! But keep playing. That was very good. Now let's try to do that. That's a good step in this progression. Now let's do that and keep playing. But soon the players will get used to doing this and will start to hear the voices around them as they connect visually. Spot! Spot! Spot!
It helped me realize where I fit into the music.
Very good.
Even if I wasn't playing the same rhythm.
Exactly.
It helped me fit.
This spotting technique is really an introduction to hearing another voice and becoming part of it. As we build a phrase, adding the voices to each other, looking up leads to breathing and moving together, and the voices fit together because the players can now hear the complete music that they are a part of. Okay, that wasn't quite together. And the reason is, what is the function of your part?
It's just like a little offbeat thing to the side.
I see. Well, that's a technical kind of understanding what that is. What's it saying to him? Suddenly the second violin has the melody, right?
Yeah, it's like responding.
It's like responding. You're kind of commenting on that. So in order to do that, are you counting?
Sort of.
Okay. Try something else. Instead of counting, sing his part inside you. Okay? And that way, and then spot him and see if that changes it. Okay? Spot. much better. How did it feel?
More together.
More together. I always ask this question, was it any more fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're relegated to playing these silly eighth notes anymore, do you? You're part of this. Now I'd like to see if we can do that with Serena and Matt and Orly. We're going to leave the cello best for last, okay? Stop, Matt. It might be hard to observe the changes that are taking place, but the barrier isolating each player from the others has been breached, and musical lines can now fit together organically as part of a whole. This way of connecting musical lines is far more flexible than any amount of counting can ever be. Even if, for some reason, the main voice were to hesitate, the others would join without faltering because they were relying on their ears and their sense of being part of the whole musical line. If they had been simply counting to themselves, the passage could fall apart. Of course, counting is a crucial tool for the individual to learn the music, but the sooner the group relies on feeling the pulse and hearing and being part of other voices, the better the ensemble will be. I like to say it's more important to be together than to be right. In French, the word ensemble means together, and learning to play together is the essence of what we're doing in chamber music. We can always stop and discuss or even argue later whether the tempo was too fast or too slow. But while musicians are playing, they need to be with the other voices.